Hoop Dreams, the podcast, an Unlearning Network production.
Man, joining us today, not only is a Chicago native, but a Chicago legend, husband, father, journalist. Let's put that there. That's right. Husband, father, journalist. Guess what? He write books too. Soul provider, true to the game, the last back Mecca and the dark side. Think that's it, I'm just getting started. Received a degree from Xavier and a master's from Howard University. He's written for numerous iconic companies and publications such as The Source, Slam, XXL, Vibe, Nike, ESPN, and a host of others. Man, we are not just excited. We are more than excited to have a true legend on the Hoop Dreams podcast show today. He goes by one of, I think, the baddest nicknames in the game. Scoop Jackson. I'm Will Gates, and that's my dog.
Arthur A.G., thanks for coming on the show, Scoop. How you doing, baby?
You know, for you two, it's an honor, man. So, hey, I appreciate y'all big time. Arthur already knows that we've been spreading love for years, but
yeah,
me and Will ain't got down, so I ain't got a chance to spread love with you, dude, but, you know.
It's always been there. I'm just going to go here, man, because truthfully, a lot of folks don't know this, man, but even when Hoop Dreams came out, you were showing us love from the very beginning. I mean, it's been crazy. So I'm just going to start right there, man. What was your thoughts? Because I know you watched the movie. So what was your thoughts? What were you thinking when you first saw the movie?
Well, here's the deal, man. Because y'all filming like 2 years before the shit even dropped. So, being in the basketball circle in the city, and y'all both know this. Mm-hmm. As big as the shit is, it's a small circle. So you hear things. So I heard about the movie before it even dropped, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh, that's kind of dope. So I was aware. I saw the movie after Spike Lee saw the movie. Spike Lee gave the movie so much love early on. Now, I think it was, what film festival was it? Cannes? I forgot what film festival it was that you all did.
Sundance.
It was the Sundance.
It was Sundance, right? Sundance. Thank you. After the Sundance Film Festival, Spike was talking about it as this is the greatest movie in the history of mankind. I'm like, oh snap, okay, so I'm like, all right, I gotta see it because Spike get that stamp, man. It's official.
Yeah.
Let's go. And when I saw it, I was like, this is dope. But because we from Chi, I'm like, I thought it was dope as hell, but I'm like, I'm not saying anything bad. I'm like, but this is nothing earth shattering because this is how we roll. This is every family in Chicago. This is it.
Chicago.
This is our everyday life. I'm like, all right.
Yep. I
said, maybe to the outside world, the Spike don't know how we roll in Chicago like that. So it's eye popping to him and then hearing how the rest of the world reacted to it. I'm like, I can do that next door. You know what I'm saying? It's such a Chicago story and how we live. As great as it wasn't like a unicorn to me.
Yeah.
I'm glad the story got told. I love the way it was told. But I'm like, all right, this is, in my mind, I'm like, what makes, they're dope. I love these two, but look, that's everybody. This story is everybody's story in Chicago that hoops, period.
Tim Hardaway said it best at Slam magazine, the one with, I know who was on the cover. It was KG and Stephon Marbury on the cover. And it was talking about Chi-Town ballers. And Tim Hardaway mentioned Hoop Dreams in it, saying this. He was like, Hoop Dreams was one of the greatest docs ever, but it shocked everybody except Chicago.
Exactly. That's it.
Yeah, that's how he put it.
We want to dive into this thing, man, because AG and I, man, our podcast, we like it to be about you. Give us the Scoop Jackson origin story. Take us back to your early years, man. You were born in Chicago. Talk a little bit about your neighborhood.
Yeah, well, I'm a South Side dude. I came up, in South Shore, and I still live in South Shore.
Wow.
I was born, Alton knows his neighborhood very well because we frequented that area. I was born on 47th and Ellis.
Yeah.
We moved out of there when I was 5 years old. We moved to South Shore, and I've been in South Shore ever since. Hooped all over the city. I held my own everywhere I went.
Uh-huh.
Not even close to being as good as you all. So, you know, like most Chicagoans, I hooped, did everything. Went to 4 different grammar schools.
Now, how is that, Scoop? How you go to 4 different grammar schools?
You know what, man? My mother was an educator.
Mm.
If she didn't like something as far as teachers or schools, she was yanking my brother and I asses out of there.
Wow.
Really like, nah. You know, she said, we can't afford the type of education I love to give my kids.
Yeah.
Still, you know, good schools around here, and I know good education when I see it, and I'm never going to put my kids in a situation where they're not getting the best education that I could possibly give them. So that's why I moved around so much. Started off at Bryn Mawr on 73rd Jeffrey. I was a grade ahead of Michelle Obama. I was in first grade, she was in kindergarten. Yeah.
Wow. What?
That's back. Then I went to another school on Faulkner, which was on 72nd and Coles. Then I went to Harvard St. George, right back on 47th Street. And then I wound up graduating grammar school from a place called Martin Luther Educational Center, which is on 113th and Forest across the park from Mendel High School.
Now, Scoop, I got to stop you for a second because AJ and I understand when you say grammar school. Can you explain to our guests what grammar school means?
Grades K through 8.
That's right.
Wasn't no elementary.
No, so through elementary grades K through 8, I went to 4 different schools in the city. But that's the reason people are like, how do you know so many people? I'm like, I went to school with them.
I went to school with them.
Right. So now that was that, and I went to wound up going to Luther South High School on 87th and Kedzie because going from Martin Luther to Luther South, and a lot of cats that we went there with. And I went to grammar school with, wound up going to Luther South, and I had gone to Luther South's basketball camp back when we were in 8th grade.
Okay.
Real funny story is that they had a morning camp from 9 to 12 and an afternoon camp from 12 to 3. And in that camp, when we were in 8th grade, Michael Conley was in that camp. And he went to Resurrection, I think, high school. Pierre Cooper was in the same camp. We all were in the same camp in 8th grade. And, Mike Conley and I, his camp team finally played against my camp team.
Okay.
I scored 51. Conley scored 50. His team won, right? And we thought we were doing something big, right?
Right.
We're dropping points on one another, right? And he's like, I'm going to this school. I'm like, you going here? I'm going here too. We on, Wayne LeBron shit like. And somebody tells us, oh, that's nothing. They got a white boy at the early morning camp that's averaging 50. We're like, what? Now, y'all know black folks do not like getting up early if we ain't got to, even if we kids.
That's right.
Yeah.
Michael Conley and I dropping 50. We think we doing big. They're like, man, white boys averaging this. We're like, okay. So we got up the next morning after that game. We got to the early morning camp to see this white guy. His name was Ray Nutter.
What?
We watched Ray Nutter drop 65 in the game we saw. We were like, oh my God. He's like, yeah, I'm coming here too. We're like, woo-hoo-hoo. We're gonna have a whip. And we wound up winning state in 1980.
Wow.
But like I said, I held my own, but I was good enough. I should have been on the squad, but I wasn't good enough to make it because they had a state. We won. That team took state.
Scoop, did your brother play?
No.
Your brother didn't play?
No. My brother didn't play at all. That was just me. My brother was the exact opposite of that. He really wasn't into sports that much. He was actually a hell of a baseball player in Little League. But he literally ripped up his ankle in the outfield, playing Little League at Chatham Y on 83rd.
Okay.
You tried, man, this think in mind, this is back in the 70s. So if you think the local Y didn't have anything, nah, man, back then he ain't had anything. He went to actually go make a play in the outfield to catch a ball, and he caught the ball and slid, and his ankle slid under
the fence.
Yep.
Oh.
It tore the outside of his ankle up, and I mean he was fine. He didn't have any arm, but he's like 8 years old playing Little League.
Right.
The skateboard thing kind of got, so he skateboarded a little bit, but he wasn't into sports. I was kind of like the sports dude because I was hooping in Chicago. So
who put the ball in your hand though, Scoop? Like what part?
Man, you know how it is. I had a balled up sock first before I had a basketball.
Yep.
I was making mistakes on my little artwork in first grade, balling it up, shooting across the room. It wasn't even a ball.
Right.
And then I got that Nerf basketball for one of my birthdays and Christmases, and that was it. I put that little, but before you get the Nerf basketball, you take the wire hanger, stretch it out, put it on your thing, and you start doing dirty laundry, and that becomes your hoop. So it wasn't even that, but I was addicted way before I even got something that bounced in my hand, man. I was like, let's go.
Hey, Scoop. Now you touched on your mom for a little bit, but expound on her a little bit because me and Will, I know we get our strength from our mothers. You know what I'm saying? And how nurturing they were with us and how they, gave us discipline when our pops wasn't in the home and stuff like that. Our mamas became like the mom and the dad was like, nigga, you gonna do this, and you gonna be at home at this time. Expound on mom for a minute.
And you ain't gonna fuck with me in the process of doing it.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, but my mother, her nickname was the militant midget.
What?
Yeah, no, this is no joke. My mother was, both of my parents were members of the Black Panther Party, but my mother was much more involved in it from an organizational standpoint than my father was, because my father was a journalist.
Okay.
But they separated when I was in second grade, but they still remain extremely close. My father wound up moving to Colorado when I was in sixth grade.
Okay.
But it was like still when they split up, during the week we were with my mom and we go to my dad's house and kick it with him. And they were always, even though we, kind of like a single parent home, like, all know the situation.
Yeah.
My dad was still around. So it was never like that. But, he's like, we done. So, and I got that. But my mom, like I said, was a militant midget, very involved in the Black Panther Party and was an educator that taught social work for DCFS. So by the time I was born, she was out of the classroom and into doing social work. And so I grew up outside of living on the south side. She was on the west side at Austin Y and at Lawndale.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
Outside of, living and growing up in South Shore. On the west side, when my mom would take us to work and do all this, that, and the other. And that was me, hooping on the west side, watching Isaiah Thomas's older brother, Larry, give people fits. And going out there and as a kid, hanging out with, to a certain degree, Don Juan and them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But my mom was a part of not just raising us, but raising the kids that she was servicing as a social worker at DCFS.
Yeah.
So I have so many surrogate brothers and sisters that she would bring home.
Really?
Brother Charlie. Man, look, Malik Youssef would tell you he met me in my living room because my mother brought him home.
So he just brought him home.
Like, this your baby brother, Malik. I'm like, all right, we family to this day that way. My mother would bring people home like that. But she, so the single parent thing existed. But my mother, like I said, the militant midget, she was the mother who raised an entire neighborhood. So Miss Jackson, don't fuck with Miss Jackson. Everybody knew that. So it wasn't just my brother and I. Like, real talk, she checked out my brother and I one time where, how parents tell you, keep messing with me?
Yeah.
I can replace you easily.
Right.
My mother literally gave us that speech, but she put the gun on the table when she did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Damn.
You two niggas will be done with and be replaced. We're like, well, she not gonna have any other babies, but shit, she with DCFS, she can adopt two real quick. And everybody knew that. She was that, like, raised her fist, wasn't scared of white people. Like, she really lived that life and instilled that life into us and instilled that life into the entire community, not only where we live, but where she worked.
Mm.
Yeah, like
So
that was her. She was the kid who graduated from college at, I think, 20. Because she graduated she made 2 doubles in grammar school, graduated from high school at 16, graduated from college at 20, and had 2 master's degrees.
Oh yeah. So mom was about giving that the neighborhood kids and the parents that information that, hey, don't think this way. You got to be educated.
But she was also big on, us finding our own form of liberation.
Mm.
She was literally a localized female version of Marcus Garvey.
Do you still hear some of the things that she says back in the day? Do you take that in your life and your professionalism today?
Oh, it's not even hearing it, man. It's in your DNA. It's in my DNA.
Mm-hmm.
It's in my DNA. I don't even need to hear her voice. Everything that she ever is not just what she said when you hear it. It's how she lived her life. The character she was, the strength that she had, stuff that she didn't even need to say. And not just raising my brother and I, but like I said, the whole community, the people that were always in our house.
Right.
My father would be like, one of the reasons me and your mother broke up because every time I came home, there was a new kid there.
There was a new kid here.
I come home and there's 5 more, and they ain't leaving, I respect who she was to such a degree. I'm like, I want to be able to have this type of integrity as I go through my own journey in life. And it's not about, what you accomplish. It's not about what you succeed in doing. It's not about the level of whatever that you reach. In my mind, at the end of the day, it's about the integrity you're able to claim that you walked on this concrete with. And I watched my mother walk with a level of integrity that I've rarely seen in people we don't celebrate as our heroes. They just happen to be unsung.
Now, Luther South, your high school.
Yes, sir.
What was them days like? Give us Luther South. Was you, being raised by your mom, we know you didn't go in as no shy freshman.
Oh, never that. I went in as me,
Yeah.
And you all understand this because you all hooped. It's really not about how good you are or what dreams you're chasing, no pun intended. It's about how you connect to the game and how you feel about yourself while you're playing the game and because you play the game. I told y'all I went to 4 different grammar schools. So the last grammar school I went to was Martin Luther. When I went there, I was the new kid coming in 7th grade. Okay. And I'm still at the time, I'm like, because I'm only 5'6" now, so I'm still small. But I was 4'11" back then. You hear about premature births? I was just walking through life premature. But I could hoop. And when I got in 7th grade, none of the dudes, we had a class of 25 kids and probably only 6 or 8 dudes in the class. And all of them cats had been in class together since they were in kindergarten. So they had all been, I was really the new dude.
Wow.
They wasn't trying to mess with me at all. My first couple of months there was nobody checking for me. A girl by the name of Sandra Harris, who I sat next to, and Sandra took me in. So we became like cousins, right? Mm-hmm. But everything changed. Literally, my whole life at that school changed the first day of basketball practice. I went out there. Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. I went out there on some Nate Archibald shit. Oh, no, all right. at the Roseland YMCA on 111th off Michigan. That was our gym because the school was so small we didn't have a gym, so we hooped up there. First day of basketball practice, dude. Ever since then, it was like, yo, first name, last name, what you want, you are guy. This, the whole bit.
Right.
The coach was like, oh, I got a point guard that can run this whole thing, and we had a dude in our class in 7th grade, man, that was 6'3".
Damn.
Keep this in mind, and y'all are really gonna laugh about this.
Oh my
Nigga
God.
was so old, he was driving to school in 8th grade.
Hey, man. Hey. Hey, man. Hey, man. You better stop that, school. He pulling up with, he parking in the teacher's parking.
In 8th grade. In 8th grade. But
He was 6'3".
6'3", in 8th grade. We had another dude who I claimed was my cousin. Reggie was like 6 feet, but Reggie was our age. But so he had squad, and the coach was like, damn, we got a point guard that can run all of this. So my life kind of changed right then, and I say that to get to high school, because by the time I got to high school, like I said, in the camp, I was already hooping with hoopers, and we knew who was all coming in. There was no shy freshman because the game gave me confidence.
Gave you confidence.
Gave me confidence. I know I'm a little dude, but I know I'm like, look, once again, in my mind, I'm hooping with the cats on the west side.
Yeah.
I'm hooping here with cats on the south side. I'm going to parks all over the city. I know I can hold my own anywhere. And that's how I walk through life because the game gave me that confidence.
Wow.
Game gave me that confidence. Like, look, I can go hoop anywhere. So as a freshman, my dumb ass walked in thinking I was going to make varsity, which was stupid.
Hey, man, you could dream, man. What you mean? You could
That's
dream,
how you're
baby.
supposed to think. You dropping 50s in camp. Why not?
And reality hit because there were a couple of guys that worked in that camp that were coming to the school like, oh. And we had a dude named John Johnson who came from Florida. He came in the freshman class. Dennis Lindsay, he went to Resurrection and with Pierre Cooper, who was Pierre Cooper's point guard in grammar school. He didn't come. I didn't know how cold he was. And that's the freshman. I ain't talking about the cats that were already there. Like David Allens and the Jason Jackson. They had hoopers at that time in Luther South.
What league was that, Scoop? What league was that?
PSL.
Now, who was y'all playing against?
Aurora Central, Ileana Christian. I think Marist was in there. The school we had the most problem with was Providence. Because Providence took state too, because they had Walter Downing and Barney Mines on their school.
Yep.
Ooh.
Just got to send some love out to Walter D. Sweet Walter D., that Marquette legend.
Man, Walter D. and Pierre Cooper used to have battles. And we had another brother by the name of Tony Martin who wanted to play in overseas professional, play for University of Wyoming. Tony was like he was the one that was jumping out the gym back in the day. So we had like and Pierre was 6'6" and Tony was 6'5". So we had our own little, Pierre was 6'8" and Tony was 6'7". So we had our own little Twin Towers thing going on. But Walter Downing was a problem. And Barney Mines is one of the coldest cats I had ever seen. So I'm coming in as a freshman and I'm seeing this now. I'm like, oh no, I ain't this level. No, I ain't this level at all.
Like, damn.
Didn't stop me from coming in, having confidence, just walking through as a little freshman dude in there. And I've always, I talk a lot of shit. I always surround myself with dudes that are like 3 times my size to back up the shit that I'm talking.
Right.
I'm like Lil Seymour.
Lil Seymour.
Right. Yeah. I'm like Lil Seymour. I'm the one that's gonna start the shit talking, but I'm gonna let Percy do the hands,
Right.
That's kind of who I was as a freshman year, and then sophomore year. I basically maintained the same, I'm always the same dude.
Let me ask you this, man. Who were the guys you was hooping against back then? Because true, you came up during the time my older brother came up.
So I was going up against the Carl Golstons, playing with the Mike Conleys. Darius Clemens at Phillips was a little bit older than me.
Mm-hmm.
Who else was I hooping with back then? The Greg Willies. Cats I couldn't hold my own with. But, those type of dudes who came out, dudes who came out in 80 and 81.
Mm-hmm.
I was right behind the Doc Rivers dudes. P. Bradley dudes, the Eddie Hughes dudes, you know. And then after them came the Johnny, the Frederick Hughes, you know, those dudes out of Robeson and all that came.
Right.
All of that, but I can never hoop on their level. But I always like, you know, go play ball somewhere and they be hooping. I get up, I get in the game for a few, hold my own, and I be out. Cause you know. Yeah. I was, look, at the end of the day, I was good enough to play NAIA basketball at the NAIA level. You know, I wasn't the Division II level because I was too small and I wasn't strong enough. I was a little dude, you know. But I could run it off. His jumper was decent. I could always get to the hole because it's Chicago. You know, you got to be able to break folks down.
You got that right. It's the winning city for a reason.
And, you know, Timmy, speaking of Hardaway, Timmy came up behind me.
Okay.
I was the neighborhood dude we came up at. Timmy grew up 2 blocks away from me. I was the little guard neighborhood, and when I went away to school, Timmy took over. Like, our park was Ekersall Park right on Yates and 82nd.
Speaking of parks, I was going to ask you, like, what was your best park memories?
Ekersall? I got a lot of memories. My hooping game was up in Ekersall, but I had a hoop in my driveway.
Wow.
We had cats coming from Chatham, cats coming from way out in Beverly, cats coming from Hyde Park and Oakwood. They would find a way to my crib because, you know, cousins. Yeah, my cousins stay over there, but I'm going to bring them over here to hoop over here with us because we got real games going on. So, yeah.
Yeah.
You had people, the 3-on-3s back there, man. You had to wait.
Right. You said you had to wait.
We had to win. But, man, and we used to go hoop. I don't know if y'all, because I think you all may be too young. That's when, back in the day, the spot to go hoop at was right on 31st off the lake, right by where Michael Reese Hospital used to be. The 31st Street Park right there by lake.
Right.
Like
31st, talking about 31st Beach, right?
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Back then, that used to be the spot. And if you could get in games over there, you were legit, because that's where the real dudes were hooping at. Like where they hooping at LeClaire right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like that was that before, like even LeClaire had been there a long time, but outside back when we were hooping, if you got in games over there, you were legit. And I'll never forget this, man. You asked me about a park memory. I'll never forget this. In the game, I don't know who this dude was. I don't know who this dude was. Now I got out, we're running, right? We're hooping. And I'm in a game playing with the real dudes. Man, I'll never forget this. There was a 3-on-2 fast break.
Okay.
Coming back, and I'm on defense, right? And I'm backpedaling. Dude got the ball in the middle, the way he's supposed to, classic, like, you know.
Yeah.
You know, you running the weave type thing. So I'm backpedaling, you know, playing D, watching the ball, watching the man, watching the ball, watching the man. Dude did a move on me that I swear to God, I should have stopped playing basketball right then and there. Step back on the basketball court ever in my life. He did a move to this day. I thought we were playing at the Pro-Am the way cats like rushed the court after he did a move on me. Look, I'm backpedaling on defense, and y'all don't understand this. 3-on-2 fast break. We get to at the top of the key coming back. Mm-hmm. This motherfucker stutter steps before he gets the pass.
What?
Yes. So I'm backpedaling, and
he started doing them feet like that.
And he does a stutter step like that and freezes me before he gets the pass. So once he froze me, dude, he was gone, got the pass. I'm standing at the top of the key. This nigga's laying the ball. It ain't even a challenge. He froze me on the step before he got the ball. Man, the whole park, it'd be like, oh! Man.
Dog, you didn't even see him have the ball? Like, you was just stuck.
The dude running point had not given it up yet. He hadn't made a decision. But he froze me. Man, usually you get the ball and you shake somebody to freeze. Man, he shook me before he even got the ball.
That's classic, Scoop. That's classic. Hey, Scoop, did you know about the time, around this time, did you know about the Chicago Avenue courts up there by Cabrini Green?
Yeah, I did. Yep, I did.
Did you ever go over there and catch some games?
No, because I didn't know anybody there. You know the rule back in the day. You don't go. There's certain places you don't go unless you know somebody.
Yeah, you're right.
Like somebody got to usher you into certain courts.
Right.
I want to throw some love to that Chicago Avenue basketball court because a lot of folks don't recognize this. That was one of the first courts out there that literally had radio that you could listen to the games on the radio. And truthfully, it really rivaled the Mecca in New York. Yeah. Because them jokers, man, Zeke and them used to come down there. DePaul put their whole squad in there. So it was Terry Cummins, some of the best basketball in the world. But Scoop, all this basketball, man, I'm thinking, how does a brother like you,
Right.
who got this passion and fire for the game, get into journalism?
I'll try to make this short as possible. One of the best things that ever happened to me, man, was that I got cut from that Luther South basketball team, that varsity basketball team. Like my junior year, going out for the squad, I got cut. Best thing that really ever happened to me in my life, because that was the first time in my life that I had to deal with life outside of like basketball.
Right.
Hooping at a neighborhood center in High Park, and we had a squad, and we wound up taking the little Chicago championship, thing. So I did have some hooping in, but it's not the same as hooping as your high school team. You know the deal.
Yep.
There's only practice once a week, and you play games on Saturdays. It's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
That really, for the first time in my life, opened my world to other things that I always had interest in, but now I got to spend time with.
Really?
Spending time with like music. Looking at girls differently because now I could have more conversation with them outside of just like hooping and all that stuff. Really diving into looking at movies and reading. Really finding it interesting. I always drew a lot, always as a kid, and like really gauging into the art aspect of everything, dealing into politics. I wanted to be a lawyer because that's what my Uncle Kermit was. Just a lot of things in life that were always on the peripheral. Right. But, couldn't get center stage because I was holding everything to basketball at that point. So the reason I say it's the best thing that happened to me because my world was open, but it forced me to open my own world up.
Oh, yeah.
This basketball dream that you have, it wasn't about making the NBA. It was always just being connected to the game, even though I was always walking around with a T-shirt. I had y'all may be too young. You used to have iron-on T-shirts where you get the letters from like the Walgreens.
Yes.
All right, so I had made my own T-shirt back then in high school, and it said 1985 first-round draft.
Get out of here. He said 1985 first-round draft. Boy, I love to see that T-shirt right now. Oh my God. That was like, my thing, but it was always basketball. There's a lot of other things out there. It's still basketball can still be a part of your life. Mm-hmm. I had a couple of basketball scholarship offers. They were small, the small schools. One to I had one to Florida A&M. But it was University of Wisconsin Whitewater. There's a small school in Hawaii. Because even though I wasn't hooping on my spot, I was still around the city hooping. I was still hooping. So right. And back then, they were like, you didn't have to send out tapes and stuff like that. Basically, if people knew you could hoop and you applied to the school and they didn't have a hoop squad, they're like, hey, we got money, come hoop for us. And my mother, I told you, she was always about education. And she didn't give a shit that if she had to rob banks to get us to go to school, we were not going to school on somebody else's dime. She's like, nobody's going to force on you what you have to do to get your education. Right. So there's going to be you have to go to this thing because we're paying for this for you. No, that's not going to happen. If anybody's making any decision on how you're going to be educated, it's going to be me. I'm the only one calling the shots.
Can I pause you for a second on that? Can you go deeper into that? Because it's interesting you go there because now we got like that's always been like, particularly the African American community, our way out in a sense, get the scholarship. How do you process that?
Yeah, well, I think you're dealing with economic situations where my mother was fortunate enough to not have a job, but have a career. It's not like she was making a lot of money. Social workers don't make a lot of money, but there's still a foundation there. Yep. A lot of times, especially in our community, because they don't have that financial foundation to allow their kid to get the type of education or get in that type of space without the scholarship. You know, a lot of times we accept scholarships not looking for the end result of that being a degree, the end result of that probably making it to the league. It's just to give my baby a chance to see something that he or she has never seen before. Like, I just want my baby to see that there's life outside of where we are right now.
Yep.
And if somebody's going to pay for them to go to school to get that different experience, to expand their lives, a lot of times in a way, you know, the parents are like, the way I didn't, the way their father did, the way their grandparents didn't, you know, that first or second kid that was able to go to college, a lot of that is financially, you know, rooted in the decisions they make to do that. I fortunately, like I said, came from a situation where my mother had a legit like career.
Right.
He was not making a lot of money because it didn't like we were financially struggling. Love my father to death, but he wasn't like, yeah, he was like, yo, I'm doing my own thing, you know? And that's kind of why my mother was able to like stand on the ground that she was able to stand on. She was like, you know what, I probably can't afford this tuition, but I'm going to find a way.
Yeah.
It's happened. Because I want my son to have this experience, and he's going to have this experience. Well, both of our sons, they're going to have this experience on their, you know, on their foundation. She doesn't want anybody waking you up at 5 a.m. saying you have to do this, and if you don't do this, we're gonna make sure, you know, we're gonna take you away from the school. You know, she's like, it could be fine for others, but that's not for me. But she was in a position to make that choice. Now, William, I'll say this to say this about my mother, because that's the reality. The belief in knowing her, it didn't make a damn difference whether she had a career or not. That's how she rolled. I mean, I talked about the integrity. She lived on that integrity. So if she could find a way, well, I'll put it this way. If I was as good as you all were in basketball, and the scholarship offer was put in front of me to go to school, and we were not in position to, you know, at least pay for 1 year, you know, to get that ball rolling, she would have accepted the scholarship, but the terms of that agreement would have been so fucking changed. You're like, yeah, okay, my son will come to your school, but this ain't happening. This ain't happening. This, you know what I'm saying? It'd be like, no, we not doing it. And the other problem would have been, and this gets back to my mother's integrity. She went to Howard University. Like I said, she got 2 master's degrees from Howard. And like I told you all, she was for real, like she's the militant midget. She really had a strong belief in not necessarily HBCUs, but she had a belief that I carry with me to this day to a certain degree, not as strong as she was, because I think things have changed. But she's like, if white people never treated us right, they're never going to teach us right. I'm not going to put my kids in their hands when it comes to education.
Wow.
I'm leaving that to us. So I don't give a damn where a scholarship offer was going to come from. She was not going to allow me to go to any school if, you know, instructional staff didn't look like this. If the dean or whatever, if we had to be fully, or at least predominantly represented for her to send her babies to that school.
So how did that decision lead up into Xavier?
Because she wouldn't let me go to Howard.
All black school?
Look, man, I wanted to go to Howard real bad, but she was like, Howard's never getting another dime of my goddamn money.
What?
Yep. Nah, my mother was for real. So Howard was off the books, and I wanted to go to Howard. And one of the reasons I wanted to go to Howard because I knew I was going to a black school, and I wanted to go to a black school, but I wanted to go to a HBCU in a major city.
Yeah.
Shrinks the list down to probably 4.
4 of them.
Because they stick HBCUs in the middle of anywhere.
Yep.
Anywhere they find land, they will stick an HBCU. And look, we from the shop. You can't, I'm not going through that culture. You're not sticking me in the middle of nowhere where, you know, like Chuck D said, they'd rather hang, you know, they're hanging us instead of leaves. I ain't.
Right. Right.
So I'm like, if I'm going to HBCU, you got to be in a major city. And Howard's in D.C., so I'm like, D.C., we're good.
Chocolate City.
In New Orleans. And I was, and literally, like I said, FAMU's not in a major city, but it's I think Jacksonville, right? I think it's Jacksonville.
Yeah, Jacksonville.
Yeah. That's close enough. That's major. That's, I'm not going to go through a culture shock because, they do have major cities in Florida that we can get to. It's not like stuck in the middle of anywhere. And that's literally where I was going. I was going to go to Florida A&M. Not on a basketball scholarship. I was going to try to hoop when I got there.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like going there because it's a black school, major city, and Howard's out. And, I didn't hear anything from Xavier. So that was there. I was literally going to Florida A&M. And, man, I'm sitting in the parking lot of 7-Eleven on 87th Street with my boy Kevin Westerfield. And he said, man, I just got a letter from Xavier University saying they got space in the dorm. I'm like, I just got a letter from Xavier University, got space in the dorm. I'm like, yo, let's go. You know what I'm saying? That was it. What? That literally was it. And I had a cousin who was at Loyola, right down the street in New Orleans. And my mother was like, okay, good. Your cousin Camille could always look out for you if you need anything. But basically, and that was 2 weeks.
Wow.
That was 2 weeks before I shipped out. That was in August. Like, that was like August 1st. I left like August 14th. That was it. So that's how I wound up. Because it was like, it was a major city. I'm like, look, New Orleans is bigger than Jackson. Let's go. And my man Kevin Westerfield was going too. What? I was like, oh yeah, we good. So, we can, we got each other's back. Let's go. So that's how I ended up with Xavier. And went down there, made the practice squad. Actually was going up against a guy who was All-American. We had a couple All-Americans on that squad for NAIA standpoint. One a guy named Lou Williams, and another was Bo Dukes was the one who wound up playing professional ball in Sweden. He actually should have made the league, but got cut by the Knicks because he was the last cut on the Knicks. I forgot what year is that, probably 84, because he got cut. They chose Mark Jackson from Georgetown over him because Patrick Ewing played center for the Knicks at that time, and he chose this guy.
Oh, okay.
He should have played, but he wound up playing ball in Sweden because after he didn't make the NBA, Sweden offered him $500,000 a year to play ball there, and he's like, I'm gone.
Wow.
Damn. And he wound up having a career in Sweden, but I wound up making Xavier's practice squad because Bo was like 5'9". Mm-hmm. They needed somebody at the school that was quick enough to make practice interesting for him. And being small,
and quick.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't do anything with it. He's one of the most phenomenal basketball players I've ever seen. He was incredible.
Wow.
I was able to at least give him a challenge in practice. So I wound up making a practice squad. I never really went out for the squad because intramural basketball at Xavier, and it goes this way at HBCUs, and y'all, I'm pretty sure know this.
Yep.
Sometimes the intramural basketball players are better than the cats on the squad because you got cats that can hoop, but they don't want to follow orders.
Yep.
Hey, and that ain't just intramurals. That's the playground.
Yes. And I'm gonna tell you how dope our intramural squad was at Xavier. And Xavier's a tiny school. It's the size of this one of these squares we're looking at right now. Xavier is like super tiny. Our team, our school's basketball team went 27-2. You hear me? 27-2. We were ranked number 3 in the nation in NAIA.
Damn.
Listen to this. Our team, our intramural team, beat that squad.
Stop playing, man.
Wait, listen to me though. And our team did not win the intramural championship.
What? Damn.
Yes, we got beat. We played just on some pickup, just like, we played against our squad. And we beat, our intramural squad played against our team squad. We beat our team squad just on that shit. And for 4 years, our team lost in the intramural championship to the same squad. That shows you how cold just regular dudes were, right?
Who was these dudes that y'all losing to for 4 years in a row? Like, damn.
niggas from Alabama and Queens, New York. You know what I'm saying? Cats that were just straight up hoopers.
Right.
The coach of the squad was the coach of the squad was like the biggest drug dealer at the school. You know what I'm saying? And his ass is from Detroit. So he running a hard game. You know, man? It's like, man, we were getting killed. And we had one intramural final, the one game we thought we had won, we were up by 1 point with 5 seconds left in the game, intramural championship. One of our guys, and we had the ball, taking the ball out of bounds. All we had to do was get the ball in bounds to win the game.
Right.
Our guy threw the ball in bounds. Pass got stolen by my man. I give my man Juice credit. My man Greg Ward from he's from I forgot somewhere in New York. I forgot where he's from. He may be from Queens. I think he is from Queens. Queensbridge. He's from Queensbridge. My man Juice, Greg Ward stole the ball. Dude, this way you have to love this. All alone on the layup by himself, he knew game's over. They down by one, easy layup. He grabbed the net with one hand, pulled himself up, and finger rolled the motherfucker in at the bus.
Wait.
Championship won. I'm like, man,
he ain't even dunk it though. At least he could have done it.
He just like grabbed it and pulled himself up and finger rolled it in.
Oh my God.
He one of the New York dudes. He had to be cool with it. He's like, oh, the minute he got the steal, he's like, oh, we got the chip. And that was their third time beating us. We had lost to them 2 years in a row in the final, and that was the game we supposed to win. But look, man, I don't want to get long with it, but this team was so cold. They were called the Boys. And they had a point guard by the name of Steve Campbell. I've never seen a guy left-handed, never seen a guy control a game, basketball, the way he did. He was incredible. They would beat teams in intramural games. They would beat teams by 60. Like, their defense was so tight, some teams would not even get the ball across half court in the first half.
What?
Dude, they were super, super, super cold. And that's what I'm saying. That's the existence that we had where we actually beat our team, who was ranked number 3 in the nation.
Damn.
Yeah, no, they were, man, look, man, I'm telling you right now, these dudes were cold-blooded. And Steve Campbell was one of the coldest guards, point guards I had ever seen. Wasn't as cold as Bo Dukes, who played for the squad. But Steve, just a brother from Alabama, you know, and wasn't even a hooper, but just could hoop. You know what I mean? Just
can hoop, right.
You know, we call them athletes. They're just an athlete, man.
Yeah, but he was like 5'11". He looked like Sherman Douglas. But God, that dude, basketball IQ, like way he saw stuff. His dude was like amazing.
Hey, ain't it always the dude that got that gym shoes is not that clean, got the best game back in the day?
Yes, and don't even look like he can hoop. He was incredible, and he was the heart and soul of that squad, man. He literally was the heart and soul. You know who he was? I'm gonna put it to you in specific. I'm gonna give it to you specifically. He was Chauncey Billups. That's exactly. He was a left-handed Chauncey Billups.
What?
Yes.
Just ran the whole squad.
Right. Chauncey didn't do anything spectacular, but what he did greater than everybody else. And the squad you gave him, you know, you can say Rasheed was better, you can say Ben Wallace is better, you can say Ripper, but they'll all be like, nah, it was just, you know, we all rolled. He was the baddest dude on this squad.
Like, this dude got the ball to the right people when they needed it, all of that.
Yeah, and he walked out there with like Sam Cassell's confidence. You know, Sam Cassell's like, every time he stepped on the court, I'm the best player on the court.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, Steve was like, man, I'm Sam Cassell. Everywhere I go, I'm like, every time, he don't care who he's playing, but he knew he was the baddest dude. And it wasn't about the numbers or anything. It was about him controlling the game.
Control the
entire game. We could never, ever beat that dude in his squad. And he had a squad. He had some ball players on his squad. But yeah, so that was my existence. But thank God, long story is that I understood that I had to have some other parts of my life that had to be at the forefront besides basketball. And I learned that by getting cut to high school. So by the time I got to Xavier, well, there was other things that I was, wanted to be involved in. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to, because I went down there with majoring in political science. Because like I said, I wanted to be a lawyer like my uncle. So I took an interest in that. I've always had an interest in communications because I always wanted to have my own magazine. I always thought I should come, my thing, I was also DJ. Like I said, music was my thing. I always wanted to eventually run one of the radio stations here. WBN, DCI, one of the things. Because I said, y'all are whack. I can program direct better. Y'all know more music than y'all do. I can do this. So I had a lot of interest in a lot of places. And thank God that happened. And I was able to really look deep into that because, when I got cut my junior year, I had time on my hand to really invest in myself in a different way. So by the time I got to college, still loved hooping, but I had all type of other interests going on. Right. And part of the thing of going to college, if you had the opportunity to do it, is to explore everything you can.
Yep.
Explore everything you can and find out what lands, find out what doesn't, and you take it from there.
So you down here in Louisiana, you at school. What was that environment like? Like, what was the school like? What was the city like?
At that time.
Finest women I ever seen in my life.
Get out of here.
Dude, New Orleans, man, please. And it wasn't just New Orleans, it was the surrounding area of all the other cities. I tell people all the time, man, Xavier is a school where not only do you have like the heart and the best of New Orleans going there, Black New Orleans. Okay. That area of Black New Orleans is sending their kids there.
Wow.
And like McDowell 35 was like our Whitney Young. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Those girls go there. Yeah. So, so Xavier had the best of that, but they also had the cream of the crop of Black folks, middle-class Black folks who wanted their kids to still go to Black schools, sending their daughters there. Now, you get that on top of what's going around surrounding cities in Louisiana, which I didn't know. I had no idea what Louisiana represented. And I'm coming up back in the day. Y'all understand this, even though y'all younger than me. I'm coming up in the day where Jane Kennedy was the finest Black woman walking the face of the earth. Mm-hmm. Jane Kennedy was Halle Berry before Halle Berry was.
Yeah.
Oh, we know who Jane Kennedy is. We saw Penitentiary 1 and 2.
Oh, there you go, right. She's from Lake Charles, Louisiana. And guess what? Jane Kennedy is the hoop dream version of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Everybody in the world thinks she's the finest thing ever, but there she's like, she regular with us. That's how it works. Everything. They're like, oh my God. Now keep in mind, you got Baton Rouge. I'm talking about all these cities with all these beautiful French Creole red bone, dark skin, beautiful, like, oh my God. All of this coming down to Xavier from all over Louisiana. Dude, I had never seen anything never in my life seen anything like that in my life. So, Will, you asked what it was like when I first saw that dude.
I'm laughing though at you, Scoop. I'm laughing at you because you just went back in your mind. You went right back to them points.
I saw this girl by the name of Lisa Robinson. We were registering in line. She went to Xavier Prep. She was the color of a peach and had that fine hair, that peach hair.
Yeah, you say that fine hair, that peach. Scoop, what does Xavier sit in New Orleans?
Xavier's in the hood. It's in this area called Gerttown.
Okay.
Which is hood. Like
Austin, Lawndale?
Like Austin, Lawndale hood. Like, exactly.
Damn.
Yeah. Like Austin, Lawndale is hood. Stuck right there.
Wow.
So we leave Gerttown and be right in the hood and be comfortable. But what made it cool is that a lot of the brothers at Xavier, that's where we all came from.
Right.
It was, y'all saw School Days where they went on campus and they went to the Kentucky Fried Sam Jackson.
Chicken.
Right.
Right.
Unlike them uppity Negroes in School Days, we were real Negroes. So when we went to the neighborhood, they like, oh no, y'all for real. Like we didn't, just because we were in school, we weren't those uppity dudes.
Uppity dudes, right.
So we weren't cut from that. So we didn't just go there just to buy, Kentucky Fried and get out. We go there to hoop. We go there to hang out. They'd have like house parties over there. We'd attend their house parties. Like, oh, yo, cool. We
That's crazy.
Because that's what we did. That's where we from. So Xavier stuck right there. And I I just want to say, like, when I saw Lisa Robinson the first time, man, in Registered Line, all the cool I had coming in from Chicago and shit, man,
the
like,
swag.
Gone. I was like, man,
Butter.
I was a lost ass puppy. You talk about losing integrity, man. I was like,
right,
man, just lost it all. But here's the thing, and this, I tell you this to tell you this. This is the only reason I'm telling you the story is getting to hang out with Lisa. Cause we stay at Chicago games. She's like, oh, this, he below my level, but he interested. I ain't never met no dude. And ain't no dude. I'm a freshman here too, so I'm straight out of high school. I ain't never met anybody outside in New Orleans. So we got a whole different game. Let me see what he about. And she like 5'9", so she's short. I mean, she tall, and I'm the short.
Right.
I'm kicking my Chicago game, so we get to kicking it. We kicking it for a while. Dude, she taking me by the house. She got 5 sisters.
Oh my God.
And she number 4 on the fine list.
Damn.
Number 4 on the fine list. Oh my.
I know you was like, damn.
Right. And man, crazy. So that was my first thing with New Orleans. My first roommates were one was from Los Angeles, the other one was from Port Arthur, Texas. So they stuck us 3 in a room, and we're understanding each other's lives and our culture, just like learning from brothers like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Learning from brothers like that, man. And those experiences were wild. But the one thing that got me about New Orleans was the heat. And I didn't understand, coming from Chicago, why, when we go to the store, walk to the, their version of Walgreens is called K&B. Walking to K&B, why all, the ladies out there in the street waiting on the bus, why they all got umbrellas? I'm like, it ain't raining. I don't get that.
He said they got umbrellas.
Oh, but I ain't never been like, why they carrying umbrellas? But that's that heat.
They use the umbrella to block the heat?
Yes, you got to block the sun, man.
What?
Yes, look, in New Orleans, you got to block the sun.
Just walking to the KB like you need an umbrella. It was that hot.
Yes, and that's how they got down. So I'm like, okay, that was a little bit of adjusting to me, the getting used to their wildlife.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'd never seen flying. We see roaches. You talk about, excuse my language, you talk about fucking the nigga's head up? Dude, look, I'm telling you.
School saying I seen roaches, but I ain't never seen no fucking flying roach.
All I'm telling y'all is true stories. I'm not lying. I'm not exaggerating. My roommate from Port Arthur, Texas, his name is King Simeon. From Los Angeles, it was James. What's James' last name? Anyway, we're sitting in the room watching TV, right? A roach crawls across our window. And we're sitting there. King takes the iron. He takes the iron and throws it at the window. Right? No, wait. The window doesn't break.
Damn.
That's when we realized this ain't a dorm, this a prison. But what fucked us up was the fact that the roach flew. You talk about 3 niggas running like Carl Lewis. All 3 of us are like, oh shit.
What the hell is that?
We ain't never seen 3 of them. We like the roaches fly, man.
You like, yeah, the roaches fly, but did you see that concrete window we got right there? Yeah, we got a concrete window. That was secondary, man. The roach flying, we all ran out the room. Oh
we
my
all
God.
ran out like it was some Blair Witch Project going. Dude, that scared the shit out of all of us.
Hey, let me ask you this. How big was it?
It was a nice size roach. It wasn't like a Chicago roach.
It was a nice size roach.
It was a nice size roach. It was nice size. It was what we in Chicago call a water bug. It was water bug size. Y'all know the
water bug size. That's right.
Like that. But it wasn't a Chicago roach.
No,
man.
They're not Chicago roaches.
So that was like the huge adjustment. Like getting used to that. Like waking up and they got snakes and like baby alligators and stuff. And like sometimes you wake up in the morning and put on your shoes and they'd be like, seriously.
Inside the shoe.
Inside the shoe, yeah, because they just, And
Damn.
being from the Chi, we ain't used to that kind of, wildlife. We don't, roaches, like, hey, we good. We can get down with that. But we ain't up to flying roaches and,
Right.
all type of reptiles. So that became an adjustment. That was my first introduction down there.
Stuck a city boy in New Orleans.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the funny part, and y'all to get this. The real awakening I had to get to when I got down to college was understanding really how trifling Black people can be when it comes to money.
To money, you mean? Okay.
Yes, real money. Real money. Real money. And I'm dealing with, as much as I love Xavier University, I'm not calling them out, but I'm getting 2 different HBCUs. And I will say that from an educational standpoint, when it comes to the bursar's office, when it comes to registering, when it comes to your money, Black people find a way.
They find a way.
Way to make your money. Like, I don't know how you can mess up money like that. So
you got to expound on that, man. You can't drop it right there and leave it.
Look, I'll put it to you this way. When you start messing with people's money, you're dealing with the education, there's only so much you're gonna be able to do. Yeah. I got told early on by by a good friend of my cousin who went to Loyola University, who happened to go to Xavier. I forgot Pete's last name, but he warned me. He warned me my sophomore year, the beginning of my sophomore year. I'll never forget this. He said, dude, make sure you stay on top of everything you do from a class standpoint, because they will do whatever they can to keep you here to get more money.
Wow.
I'm going to do that. Now, he gave me warning. He gave me straight up heads up on this.
Right.
And it still wound up happening to me. They still got me for another semester from, Pell Grant, student loans. They still found a way to juice you with your money. Now, that's by the time I graduated. But before I even graduated, and I'm telling you, this is my experience. I'm talking about just the school experience. You can't keep doing this to people and their money. I think it was either my sophomore or junior. I forgot what year it was. Our financial aid officer got shot and killed. It's on campus.
Okay, man. What?
Yes, dead serious. Parent.
That happened.
Yes, parent walked in this dude's office and killed him.
A kid? Like, was he going to school there?
Money.
A parent.
Oh, wow.
Financial aid officer fucking with the, y'all done gone too far.
How did the school and the students? How did y'all handle that?
We got it. Like, oh yeah, we got it. It's like, yeah, somebody we get it. You keep playing around and like, nah, well, your son can't graduate or your daughter can't graduate because of this, and this and we gonna keep them another year. We got to, you keep messing with people's money and keep, like they did me. They told me my last semester there that, oh, well, you can't graduate because there was a class that was a requirement that you were supposed to take your sophomore year. And we don't offer that class anymore.
What?
Yeah. And my man Pete warned me that they were going to do he said they do stuff like this. And he was at the time going through it. He was a senior.
Wow.
Like, let me tell you what they're going to do to you. So be prepared for it. And even though I was like every time checking everything.
Right.
Still find a way to get it.
Wow.
How did that work out though?
I had to go for another semester. And I just took the minimal amount of hours. I had to take like 6 hours.
Uh-huh.
Just to get enough money to pay for me to, be in there for that semester.
But the university get that money for you coming back the other semester.
That's it.
Wow.
I'm the gold of my era. I've been a trending topic. I'm as fly as a feather. My pockets macroscopic. See, with time I get better. I'm always in the action, kid. Know I got it locked from Chicago where the toughest live. Concrete jungle, earn my stripes on the pavement there. You make it here, then you can make it anywhere. No comparison. Your game is embarrassing. No one can touch me. I'm all for going there again. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Martha Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Martha Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me.
Hoop Dreams the podcast, an Unlearning Network production. Written and produced by Arthur Agee, Will Gates, Matt Hoffer, with audio engineering from Matt Savage. For more episodes, check us out at www.unlearningnetwork.com.
Gotta be a dog to survive in this cold weather. Ice in my veins, no need for a warm sweater. I'm coming for it all, best believe I won't let up, yeah. Hey, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Martha Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me. Yeah, I think I'm ballin' like I'm Will Gates. I'm hoop dreaming, trying to fight against a sealed fate. More faith, think I'm ballin' like I'm Martha Agee. I'm box office and one day they gon' have to pay me.